So yeah, thought I'd do another video. Don't really know where I'm gonna go with it, but I've got a bit of an idea anyway. Like ever since leaving university, I've always had the opinion that I've always thought university's useless and my degree is useless, and it probably is at the end of the day. Like just all of it, college and uni, and but I guess that's like I've what I've noticed in life. Well, it's a bit obvious anyway that everything's a learning curve. I guess some people believe things happen for a reason, where we have to go through obstacles and there's barriers in the way that makes life harder as a way of learning. I don't really know if I believe in that sort of stuff because I'm like spirituality and well, I don't know actually. Like I'm someone that I label myself as a Christian at the minute. So, but I don't know. I don't really think much of that sort of stuff, to be honest. But yeah, and I don't think it's no secret that I've not had the easiest of times within the last 10 to 15 years. I found life very difficult, very challenging. There's been a lot of barriers, a lot of obstacles. I guess everyone can have barriers and obstacles to a level, but coming from me personally, it's definitely not been easy. There's been a lot of difficult times when I was at uni and home life, getting sectioned in hospital and having to move out of the only place I've ever thought of as home and the village I've lived in all my life. It's quite difficult. It was a very difficult time, and I've been thinking of a time at university. Towards the end of university, I think throughout the whole course of I did animation at university. Throughout the whole course, I've found it very challenging. I've university picking animation was a panic choice. I think where I weren't exactly thinking it through fully, if you know what I mean. As I was picking university at a time when my mum was ill in hospital, and I felt very alone and very isolated, and thought if I'm not careful, if I don't do anything, I could be heading for a life of don't know being classed as I don't know a vulnerable adult. As I guess that was my biggest fear now because of having Asperger's and being treated like you're below, which to be honest eventually happened anyway. With being in supported living and all that. But it's always been a life I wanted to avoid. When you have a label, when my experience in high school where you are treated a bit like you're disabled, like you're not quite got it upstairs, like you're really dumb and thick. Like I don't think I'm the most intelligent person in the world, but I don't really think I, I like to think I'm at least around average intelligence. But yeah, that's a topic for another video. But I think I remember a time towards the end of university where I was working on my final year project where you make a final year film, usually a short film, because you've only got a limited amount of time to make it. You've basically got 9 months to make it, doing going through the pre-production process, production process, and post-production process. So you've got a very tight, limited time to do it, really, in the world of filmmaking, because ultimately animation is a film degree. And it was not an easy time. It was, I think it was really my first experience of making a film as a director, as I was given the director role, which was like probably the most important role, really, because it was my film. It was my film idea, my concept that I pitched, and it got picked, so it made sense that I'm the director. But obviously, I've had zero experience in directing a film at the time, and there was a lot of problems because of that, because I didn't really know what I was doing. I was not confident with it, where I struggled with confidence anyway, with low self-esteem and not feeling very good about myself anyway. So it was inevitable that there's going to be a lot of problems with that project, because I just simply just didn't have a clue what I was doing at the end of the day. I think I tried my best and tried to do what I thought was right, but ultimately it didn't work. And thinking back to that time, I think I do recognise where I went wrong, and I should have had the bollocks and the stomach to, don't know, like, be a bit more strict with the project, where I was probably a bit too easygoing, where I thought, no, fuck you, my way goes. If you don't like it, fuck off. Like, I should have gone a bit to that level, and I probably understood that, you know what, I should have probably worked on the animatic a lot more, and worked on the animation process a lot more, and just really, I should have been the lead. I should have been like, right, this is how I want to do it, this is the way we do it, and if you don't like it, get to fuck off, get off the project. I'll just fucking do it on my own, because I ended up doing it on my own in the end anyway. So that's the way I should have done it. And at the time, I wasn't a confident animator. Like I mentioned that it, picking animation was a panic decision. I weren't really thinking it through. I didn't really have any experience of being an animator previously to that. So animation didn't really come as natural. I don't think I was as skilled at it as some of the people on the course, most of the people on the course, but I think towards the end I got quite used to it, and it turns out I weren't so bad at it, and in some sort of areas I was probably better than quite a few of the students when it comes to some sort of animation, because I noticed some students' animations were very stiff. It didn't flow, where I think in my animations it kind of flowed to a level. If you see my film Bushman, you might understand what I'm on about. Or what if there's anything on in my Instagram, there might be stuff on there that's an example of that. But yeah, there was a lot of problems, and I think something that didn't help is that on my projects and just on the course in general, I think there's very difficult, very stubborn people that are very neurotic, and I probably ended up with two of the most neurotic people on that course, where they were just fucking mental, batshit fucking mental, probably lean towards all this woke shit, probably, and just it was just chaos, and I recognise my mistakes on that project, but I don't think they fucking helped. I probably ended up with the most stubborn fucking cows on the fucking course, to be honest. But really, I think where I went wrong is that I should have been more strict, but obviously that would have turned into arguing and potential physical fighting because it was just those sort of fucking personalities where probably ended up ripping each other's head off. Probably. But I think I recognised I should have probably worked on the animatic more, probably should have worked on the animation more, but ultimately that was a learning curve, that was a barrier, if you know what I mean. At least I know for next time, if there was a next time, if there is going to be a next time, but good chances there probably won't. But if somehow there was another year to that course, I don't think my film would have got picked, whether the idea was good or not. And usually my strengths was my ideas. I was an ideas man. I had good ideas, I had good concepts that had a lot of potential, which lecturers commented on. But I don't think my film idea would have got picked regardless because of my failure on that project to direct a film. But I don't think, if that would have been a thing, I don't think that would have been a fair choice because I think it's a learning curve. I had to have that tough year of struggle where I was getting all the blame and everything, and probably to levels treated quite harshly, but to levels I recognise my mistakes as well. To understand where I went wrong and use it as a fucking learning curve to better myself so I know what I'm doing more for the next project. So when I go into another project, if it ever happens, I'm more experienced in that, if you know what I mean. So I don't think it would have been a fair decision if they'd have decided not to bother with me because I don't know, I'm bound to fail, which I believe if I got another chance I might have succeeded a bit better, but I probably should have worked with a more professional group of people. I would have probably succeeded better if I ever do get another chance. And another thing is that obviously I've not pursued anything animation, and the film industry and the storytelling industry is very competitive, but the bare basics of storytelling is writing, and I spend a lot of time alone on my own, and I guess being alone and having a lot of time to yourself is a writer's best friend. So I am thinking of writing stuff to potentially, in a way of potentially being designed into a form of animation or a film in general, or just a novel, a graphic novel or whatever, because I do think maybe a strength of mine is ideas and concepts, and I should focus on maybe being a writer at the minute because that's something you can just do on in your own time, and the only thing stopping me from that is motivation. I don't know if I'm the most talented writer in the world, but you don't know until you try. Like, I do think I've got some pretty good ideas and concepts if I think hard enough and I work hard enough on it. But I guess maybe not think hard enough because sometimes things just write for itself, if you know what I mean. And like, I understand the basics of storytelling where there's a beginning, a middle, of an end. Probably not always. You can probably go a bit radical with that, even. But the basics of storytelling. There's to an reaching to an end goal. What motivates this character to an end goal, and why this character does this, what motivates whoever they are to do that, and how does the story conclude. That's the bare basics of writing, and I think I probably clearly understand that, so I could probably do it. Something that I'm kind of becoming a big fan of at the minute is sci-fi and fantasy and all that, so maybe that's an area I'm going to go. Maybe the Ghibli sort of route. I'm watching some at the minute on Netflix called Love, Death and Robots, and I think that's the first two seasons of that are brilliant. I've not really managed to watch the other seasons, but that's probably the sort of stuff I'm probably going to do. But yeah, I'm going to end it there. Goodbye.